Folks, as we touched on earlier in the show, this nation's facing a massive invasion, and Joe Biden's unwillingness to secure our southern border has become a national security risk. In addition to potential violent criminals coming in, suspected terrorists entering our country, and of course the record amount of drugs. The Biden admin wants you to believe that the greatest source of lawlessness, though, in this country right now is MAGA Republican folks. Yeah, right. Worst crisis at our southern border in history. You've made cartels billionaires. Thanks, Joe. And Biden and Harris and the rest of the Democrats keep denying it. Additionally, their politically motivated disinformation and manipulation puts Americans in danger. Fentanyl is now the leading cause of death for 18 to 45-year-olds in this country. Last year, over 110,000 folks died from it, people. I don't know how much more I have to keep talking about it. My next guest, Derek Maltz, is the former director of the Drug Enforcement Administration in the Special Operations Division. He has been out in front of this fight, trying to warn especially parents about the deadly consequences of fentanyl. Yesterday, I spoke with Derek about the crisis and a big event happening in Washington, D.C. this weekend. It's called the second annual Lost Voices of Fentanyl. This is where family members, friends, and loved ones are all going to come together, trying to raise awareness and to get the Biden regime's attention. Derek, welcome back to the program. Thank you so much, first and foremost, for reaching out to my crew and letting them know about this big rally, march, whatever you want to call it, that is happening in D.C. this weekend, because to me, this has got to be at the forefront of every American's minds right now. This is, to me, one of the biggest problems we're facing in the nation is this fentanyl crisis. And if we don't get a handle on this, Derek, you know better than most, tracking how many kids have been affected by this, who knows where we'll be in 5-10 years if we don't shut the border down and stop these drugs from coming in.
Right, Dan. Thank you so much once again for your support. Tomorrow we will be out there in full force with families from around America trying to get the White House and the current administration to talk about this national security crisis. This is not grandpa's drug opioid addiction. This is a poisoning against our kids like we've never seen in the history of this country. We've never had this many dead kids, young kids, as young as 13 years old, because of a poisonous substance that's coming into this country from Mexico, right over the border, and the precursor chemicals are coming from our number one adversary, China.
Right.
So we have a very serious problem, Dan. So thank you for having me on.
Well, and Derek, you're probably seeing the video we just rolled right there a second ago. In the last few months, we've seen it get even worse because the fentanyl pills that are coming over are these bright colored little pieces that look like candy. I mean, if you're not marketing to kids, what are you doing? This isn't like, oh, here's a Vicodin pill, and by the way, we spiked it with some fentanyl. This looks like colorful little candy.
Dan, right now in America, the Mexican cartels are using a very strategic and deceptive marketing plan to drive addiction and drive profits. And they're targeting our kids. And it's not just the colorful pills that look like Sweet Tarts or Skittles. Mm-hmm. They're also making these blocks that look like the sidewalk chalk that kids use to draw on the driveway.
Right.
So kids could pick it up not knowing what it is, and they could potentially get, harmed by this poisonous substance coming in from Mexican labs.
Wow.
So it's dangerous. Yeah.
I didn't hear that one. The chalk. I mean, and we've already had how many different instances you filled us in last time you were here, and we've reported some other ones where cops have apprehended people, and when they're frisking them and searching them, they've touched some fentanyl that was on a dollar bill and dropped to the ground and have an overdose. The other day, there was a teacher in California that frisked some students after they got into a fight, and a kid had some pills, and the teacher touched the pills and had an overdose. So can you imagine if your little kid is grabbing this chalk? I mean...
Right. Oh. So, Dan, I'll put it in perspective, and this is actually a positive thing. Lauren Boebert from Colorado, Tim Ryan, Democrat from Ohio, actually are supporting the Families Against Fentanyl to designate fentanyl as a weapon of mass destruction.
Yes.
Why is that important? Would you let your kid pick up a weapon of mass destruction, some biological or chemical weapon? Well, that's what they're doing with this poisonous fentanyl, these pills. Look what happened. I was in Hollywood this week, and look what happened. 2 kids in a bathroom in a high school in Hollywood. The father's worried about where the kid is. One's dead, not his kid, but the friend, and his kid was in the bathroom. They were poisoned in the bathroom in high school in Hollywood. It's all over. The DEA administrator put out a mass poisoning alert going back in April because there were 10 dead in Washington, D.C. But every month, Dan, I track this. There were 9 poisoned in El Paso, 9 in St. Paul, Minnesota. There was 101 fire rescue calls by Knox County, Tennessee in the first 12 days of August. In the first 11 days, there were 11 dead. It's like something we've never seen in the history of the country.
No, I know. We're averaging like, what did I read the other day? 9,700 a month. I mean, 10,000. That's on track for 120, and it's going to be much higher than that because some don't even get reported as that type of death anyway. So the numbers are greater. I want to go back to the event taking place tomorrow. So if folks can still make plans, I wish I could. I've got a prior engagement with the family this weekend, Derek, but I'd love to make it to Washington with you. But I'll be there in spirit. This is Lost Voices of Fentanyl. This is the second time you've had this national rally?
Yes, the founder, April Babcock, she started this a couple years ago, and her original intent was to go spread awareness down in front of the Chinese embassy, which we did last year in August. There was about parents from about 40 states last year that participated. But just to keep this in mind, when she started the group, when I first got on, there were about 700-800 members of the group. There's now 20,000. It's growing so fast, I don't even know what the limit is from Facebook groups. But now we have parents that are very angry around America. They don't understand why the president can call this an unusual and extraordinary threat to national security, but then the border's wide open. We're dealing, all these deals with China, and it's like the parents don't understand it. The kids are being found blue in their bedrooms, dead. We have a crisis we've never seen, and now they're going to hear from all the parents. I called out Joe Biden on another show recently. Mr. President, if you cared about fentanyl, come out and talk to the parents. They'll be outside your house in White House this week, tomorrow.
Right, yeah. Well, I don't think you'll be hearing from Sleepy Joe. He's probably out practicing how to stay up on his bicycle out in Delaware so he doesn't fall off again. The website, put it up on the screen, folks. I want everybody to know about this event, the organization, how they can get involved, not to mention I'm positive there are folks watching this program right now, Derek, who have been affected by fentanyl. Someone in their immediate family, extended, a neighbor, somebody they know, they read it in the local paper. This is affecting almost everyone, folks, and it's only going to get worse if we don't lock down the damn border and stop this deadly drug from coming in. Derek Maltz has been at the forefront of it. This guy knows what he's talking about. He's the former director of Drug Enforcement Administration Special Operations Division. He's seen this for decades. Listen to what the man's saying, support him and this organization, and let's try to get somehow this Biden regime to take action at the border to try and save not just our children, but tens of thousands of American adults too. It's the #1 killer. Derek, God bless you for all you're doing. Take care, sir.
Talk to you soon. Have a good day.